What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Frontline Film podcast, episode number 24. Sorry for the hiatus. We have both been pretty busy, and it's the summer, so we just kind of figured we'd take a little summer break and reconvene after that. So, um, thanks for being patient with us, but we got a lot of movies to talk about and some shows and some other trailers and big news that we got over the past couple of weeks. So we are excited to dive right in. Three pretty big movie reviews today, movies that we've been um, looking forward to all year. We're going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about How to Train Your Dragon remake, which I got to see. We're also both going to be talking about Materialists, which we both got to check out this weekend. And last but not least, 28 years later, the newest installment of the 28 Days Later franchise. The first one in quite some time, and it's the start of another trilogy that they're doing. So very cool, very excited to talk about that. But yeah, hey Landon, how's it going? How's
What's up,
life? What you
man?
been up to?
Oh, nothing. School and stuff like that. Traveling, trying not to like just be too busy to do anything, but it feels like that doesn't work. And especially with you, I mean, you've been traveling nonstop, just nonstop. You finally got some reprieve, and then I know you get a little break for 4th of July, which is going to be nice. But until then, we still got places to go and stuff to do before then. So, yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's been a busy month for us, for sure.
Life is a grind. Life is a
Mm.
grind. But we still love our movies, and we still make time to go see our movies. So yeah, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. So we got a couple trailers we wanted to talk about that have come out over the past couple of weeks. The first one being we don't have to talk about this one too long, but we did get a new trailer for Superman, featuring a bunch of new shots that we had not seen yet. Some really cool shots of him flying. That sick shot of him like using his laser eyes. I'm sure you might have saw that one where he was like spinning around. Um, Everything I see about this movie is getting me more and more amped. I actually was just able to secure my ticket today to see it at Lincoln Square on opening night.
Love that.
Um, the biggest country or the biggest screen in the country. So very excited for that. I know you are too. It was one of your most anticipated. But yeah, dude, everything I'm seeing, posters, clips, everything is just getting me more and more excited. I'm gonna be honest, I was like a little nervous when the first like images and maybe the first trailer came out, but like the more I see, the more excited I'm getting. So what do you think?
Yeah, definitely agreed. That the laser scene was dope. And I just like the little like I don't know, it's like the subtleties of like after he uses his laser eyes, he kind of has like the burns around his eyes, and I don't know how like that does in the comics. I'm not super big on Superman comics, but it looks like it's just gonna be like a lot of fun. I think James Gunn is going to set up this whole DCU perfectly. I think it's gonna be a great entry. Now I will say my Twitter is currently flooded with the Snyder fans, which is, fine, but I get to the point where I'm just like, hey, we can like both movies and it's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. So
I must
um,
not be on that side of Twitter.
I'm
I
on that side of
really,
Twitter
I
hard.
really don't see a lot of like Snyder hate. The only like hate or anything I've seen is like Marvel fans and DC fans fighting about like Superman versus Fantastic Four. And
Yeah,
even James Gunn was like, "Why can't we just love both?"
yeah,
Pedro Pascal like tweeted a poster of both and was like, "Go see both."
yeah. No,
So
but no, I'm super excited. This was on my most anticipated for a reason. Superman is iconic, probably the most iconic superhero. So I'm excited to see what James Gunn does, and I think the cast is going to be elite, and it's going to be legit, and it's going to be great.
yep, I'm very excited to see James Gunn dive back into his bag again. We know he's got the sauce, so. Um, Obviously we got Suicide Squad from him a couple years ago, but I feel like this is his real like first big foray into DC, like with like you said, probably the biggest superhero name, most well-known superhero name of all time. So, yeah, very excited. That's just a couple weeks out, so not too much longer. So that's Superman. We also got the first full-length trailer for the Naked Gun reboot. starring Liam Neeson. It's got Paul Walter Hauser, a couple other people in the trailer that you recognize, but dude, this movie looks so funny. I don't have you seen the originals?
If I have, I think I've seen like the original,
Yeah.
but it's been a minute.
Yeah,
So
I've seen the first one. Um I don't honestly don't think I've seen I think there's like two or three. I don't think I've seen the others, but I've seen the first one. It's just really, really stupid slapstick comedy, like Three Stooges type stuff. Um But yeah, dude, this new trailer is great. Both movies that I saw this weekend had this play in front of it, and like the whole theater was just dying. Pam Anderson's in it. She looks like she's pretty funny, and there's some of the dumb humor. Like he's like, "So we got you in for man's laughter," and stuff like that. And then like the infrared scene of her like cleaning cleaning
yeah,
the oven.
yeah.
Just really dumb stuff like that. I'm I'm very excited for this because I feel like we don't get a ton of just really dumb slapstick comedies like this anymore. It's also directed by Akiva Schaffer, who is like, one of the Lonely Island guys, so we know he's got a great mind for humor. He's also done like Hot Rod and Pop Star, two movies that we both love. He also did the Chip and Dale movie a couple years ago, which was very good. So he's got a really good track record, and Liam Neeson has proven in a couple different instances that he can be really funny. Both in like what he's in Ted 2, like very briefly, but then like A Million Ways to Die in the West, um, among some other stuff. So yeah, what do you think about this? I haven't really talked to you much about this movie. Do you like stupid slapstick stuff like this, or
Oh
is it just
yeah, no, dude, this is gonna be like so we got the announcement for like Happy Gilmore 2 or whatever. It's like straight dumb. It's gonna be dumb, but it's gonna be funny. I kind of compare these movies to that. And Liam Neeson is definitely a certain character where you're like, okay, well, let's get him in a comedic role, have him, be very funny and be very stupid. So that's exactly what I think people should go in expecting. Don't, like the Rotten Tomato score or the IMDb scores might be bad, but these are the ones like Benchwarmers or Step Brothers or Without a Paddle or all those movies that are just stupid, bad like critic scores. Who cares? You're gonna turn them on when you want a good laugh or you like just want to have a good time. I think that's gonna be this movie. It's gonna be very stupid, but it's gonna make some very, very funny jokes. We've seen funny jokes in the trailer, and I mean, we get like an iconic actor at the middle of it with Liam Neeson. So this one's gonna be super funny. I'm super excited. This is just gonna be one where you're laughing out loud in the theater. The theater is going to be like a perfect place to see this because everybody around you is gonna be laughing. So yeah, no, I can't wait for sure.
yeah, it'll definitely be. I mean, I think has potential to be like the best comedy of the year. I'm looking at my list right now, and really all we've gotten is like One of Them Days, which I didn't even really like. Novocaine was kind of like an action comedy, but really like no pure comedies on the year. Minecraft, but um, yeah, so I'm very, very excited for this. It'll be a nice refresher, after all these massive blockbusters we're about to get,
Yeah.
just something stupid and mind-numbing.
Yep.
Um, and I think it could potentially be like top 10 of the year if it really is as funny as I think it could be.
Yeah.
So, definitely excited for that. Um, so yeah, that is The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. And then probably the best trailer we've gotten in the last couple weeks. Um, we got the first trailer for Deliver Me from Nowhere, which is the Jeremy Allen White Bruce Springsteen movie. Um, I've been hearing about this like for a couple years now, obviously after like the success and how well he is in The Bear, like he was cast as Bruce Springsteen and I feel like musical biopics are kind of just making a big comeback. I guess it really started with like Bohemian Rhapsody, and then we got The Dirt, and then we got A Complete Unknown with Timmy last year. There's definitely a couple others I'm not really thinking of, but yeah. So this movie looks fantastic, um, absolutely phenomenal. Jeremy Allen White, clearly like in The Bear, he's one of the best actors working right now. He was also incredible in Iron Claw. Um, and I mean, honestly, everything I've really ever seen him in, he's really solid. So, I feel like this is his first like real big foray into like a big movie because he was more of a supporting role in Iron Claw, and then obviously The Bear is a TV show. So I feel like this is like his first real like massive Hollywood movie, and it looks awesome. It's got him. It's got Paul Walter Hauser again. Who else did it have? Jeremy Strong, uh, who just I think just recently won an Oscar this past year, or was nominated anyways. Yeah, and you get clips of him actually singing in it, which I didn't think it was him, but apparently it is him, and it's just unreal. I think he could potentially be gunning for an Oscar here. If it's, I mean, Timmy got nominated for a complete unknown, so like I have no doubt if this is a good movie, like he's going to get nominated at least, if not potentially win. So yeah, what do you think?
Dude, when I saw the trailer, I was like mesmerized at him, dude. We are huge Jeremy Allen White fans. You've seen Shameless or have you not seen Shameless?
I've not, but I
Okay,
know a lot of
so
people love him in
yeah,
that.
I watched all of Shameless, and he is incredible. Probably the best character in Shameless, I would think. And of course, like you said, Iron Claw, he's incredible, and the Bear, he is just the best. I mean, everybody's great in that show, but like he is like the main guy, and he proves it time and time again. So it was about time that we got him, I think, in a lead role for him to take the spotlight and be in a you know theater release where he's the guy. And dude, if this is him, like if he's singing like that, like I saw tweets and I think we sent them back and forth of like people were saying it was like a spiritual experience to watch him do the concert scene. And if you have like co-stars saying that, and even Bruce Springsteen giving him praise for what he did, like to do the voice, and like he is 100% going to be nominated for an Oscar. And I would be like hard pressed to see like if he does win, it probably wouldn't shock me once we see the movie. So I still need to get around to seeing the Complete Unknown, but Remy Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody was like incredible in as Freddie Mercury, and from everything we've seen and what you've told me, Timothy Chalamet does really good as Bob Dylan. So like it almost feels like every time they get a musical biopic, they're knocking it out of the park with the lead man, which is so important, I feel like. So I'm super excited to see him do this. Bruce Springsteen. This one though is like I don't think, and maybe this is like me being younger and not growing up on Bruce Springsteen, but like personally, he's probably not as big as like Queen or Bob Dylan or even Motley Crue. I don't know how big Bruce Springsteen is in that like era, but I mean he's got iconic songs, and just seeing like hearing Born to Run like in that concert scene, and you know that song and he sounds exactly like the song. I mean, dude, I'm so excited. Like I love musical biopics. I know some people like don't love them or think that we get too many, but like I like them because you see like a certain side, and we love historical stuff like that. And in the music genre, which we both love, now we get an actor we like again with Timothy Chalamet we love. Now we love Jeremy Allen White. Dude, I think he's gonna kill it. I think this movie's gonna be so freaking good, and like
Yep.
might be like one that we say at the end of the year, like top 10, top five. It's that good.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see this being top five as well. Um, like I said last year, I think Timmy gave the best two performances of the year, both in Dune and a Complete Unknown. And I think this has potential to be like the best performance of the year.
Hmm.
Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen. So that comes out in October. It's like prime release for like an Oscar campaign, later in the year. That'll get everybody like excited and talking about it before the Oscars early next year. So, uh, yeah, dude, I'm pumped for this. Um, Question for you, kind of a fun question. Who would you like to see a musical biopic about that we have not gotten yet? I
Oh,
have one. I'll start off and give you some time to think. I think an Alice Cooper or Guns N' Roses one would be sick, but like, mainly cover Alex Cooper,
hmm.
Alice Cooper. So I think that'd be really solid.
I think we texted back and forth kind of about it. Maybe we have gotten one. If we have, I haven't seen it or haven't heard of it. I just think something with about Jimi Hendrix would be just sick. Knowing about like you know, his early stuff, and Jimi Hendrix is iconic in the rock and the rock like culture and everything, and he's a like legendary guitarist, and to die at a young age tragically the way he did, like I think Jimi Hendrix would be just a really cool like biopic just to see the behind the scenes stuff. But you know, I mean, you could go down the list for people that like are so interesting. I mean, from Nirvana to
Like Aerosmith or something.
Aerosmith, like anybody in that era. And I'm trying to think like early 2000s people, but yeah, no, I think Jimi Hendrix is like towards the top of my list right now, and maybe we'll get one day. But
Yeah, yeah,
Queen was probably at the top of my list, but then we got one. So, yeah.
yeah. And honestly, like I mean, I enjoy Bohemian Rhapsody, but I think it's honestly out of all the big ones recently, it's probably the weakest.
Hmm.
Because the Dirt is just incredible. A Complete Unknown is fantastic. Um, and
I
then
think Remy Malek was really good as Freddie
you go
Mercury.
further back, Walk the Line is really
Oh
good.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, dude, very, very excited for Deliver Me from Nowhere. We'll definitely be tuning in to support our boy, who we also get to see here in a couple days. Season 4 of The Bears coming out
Yeah.
on that, I think Wednesday. It's either Wednesday or Friday.
Yeah.
So massive W there. Um, so yeah, that's all of our trailers for the week. Or the past 2 weeks. There really hasn't been too much. But those are the big ones we wanted to talk about. We did get a massive, massive piece of news like 2 days ago, which I wanted to talk with you about. So it was officially announced that John Bernthal will be in Spider-Man Brand New Day as the Punisher. We're going to get Frank Castle teaming up with Spider-Man. And the way this like announcement kind of took over the media, I kind of have a feeling like it's not like he's going to be in a small role like he was in Daredevil. I kind of have a feeling that he is going to play a much larger part in the movie. I feel like they wouldn't have made the announcement as big of a deal as they did if he was just a small part or like a cameo. I hope that's the case. I hope I'm not wrong, but um, obviously we love Spider-Man, and I'm really curious to see where they take it after the events of No Way Home. I know a lot of people on Twitter have been talking about it, and I think we've even talked about it. Like I really want a more grounded story, and the Punisher's like, one of your most grounded guys in the entire MCU. So very, very, very cool news. Um, Maybe we'll get like Daredevil in there too or something. I don't know. We'll have to see how Daredevil Born Again season 2 like lines up with it, as well as I don't know when his Punisher special is coming out. To see if maybe that leads into it. I don't know. But very cool news. I was pumped. I texted you like screaming when I saw this
Yeah,
news.
you
So
did. Yeah.
yeah, very, very cool stuff.
Well, we know that Matt Murdock has a very small relationship with Peter Parker, but he knows who he is in the events of No Way Home. So we know that Daredevil, has knows who he is. Like, is it?
Well, he doesn't anymore.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, he knows
He knows
who.
who Spider-Man is. He just doesn't
Right,
know.
right, right, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. But so yeah, no, with the I think Brand New Day is going to be very interesting because with the events that happened at No Way Home, so we'll definitely have to see what the whole storyline is going to be. I don't think we have a confirmed villain yet. There's been rumors of who it's going to be, but we don't have a confirmed one. But I think at this point we do know that he won't be in Doomsday unless now they're changing the script to where he will be in. Initially, he was not going to be in it.
Because this was coming out after Doomsday. Now
Yes,
it's coming
correct.
out like six
Yeah.
months before.
So
So
unless they change it, we don't think he's going to be in Doomsday. And I think initially this story was supposed to take place the same time as Doomsday. We'll see. I don't know. I'm very interested to see how this goes because I think there's a lot of questions like we had with Doomsday. Um, I'm hoping this one does not get moved though. I feel like if they were going to do like a story by itself, then it doesn't need to be moved. So we'll
yeah,
see.
and it's not like maybe it really is a much more grounded story because you're not going to have Punisher fighting Doctor Doom um,
Correct.
in Doomsday. So
Yep.
maybe this will be kind of a separate thing, much more grounded, which I would love to see. Um, because I feel like the first Spider-Man was relatively grounded. Homecoming.
Yeah.
but obviously the second and third one you get a little bit more out there. So
Yeah.
would be really cool to kind of see like a street level,
Yeah.
darker, grittier Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, the first one was definitely grounded. The second one is, I think, still grounded to a point because it's not like you're got other Avengers and
it's like
multiversal stuff.
drones and
And then the
stuff.
third one is like
Yeah.
not grounded at all. So, yeah. Take
But
a step
yeah,
back. Go back to grounded.
huge, huge news. Very, very excited. Obviously, we love Bernthal. So we got Bernthal and Tom Holland in two movies coming out in July next year, in both this and The Odyssey, and Zendaya as well. She'll be in all of them.
Yeah.
Uh, I actually saw that tweet like literally yesterday. Her and Jacob Batalon were confirmed to return
Yep.
as well. So yeah, dude, Tom Holland, John Bernthal, Zendaya, they are all very employed, gonna have a great summer next summer. So yeah, huge news. Very, very excited. Can't wait to see them team up and see like how that looks. So yeah, so that's all of our news and trailers for the weeks. And now we're gonna go ahead and jump into some stuff we've been watching. Um, as we've covered in I think the last one or two episodes we've talked about it. We've been watching Stick, the golf show on Apple TV Plus, starring Owen Wilson. Um, I think last episode I'd still only watched the first one up to that point, but now I'm pretty sure I'm all caught up. Very solid show. It's very funny, but it's still kind of very emotional when you learn like what happened to his son, and kind of you know, that was like his whole downfall was what the events of whatever, happened with his son. His son had cancer, I believe,
Mhm.
um, and died pretty young. So some really like heavy stuff there, but it's also still very entertaining. Getting some awesome like golf stuff. Santi was kind of pissing me off the last couple episodes, just being a little bit of a brat and not being coachable. Granted, Owen Wilson's character maybe wasn't being the best, most supportive coach, but I do think Santi was being a little bit of a baby, and then his new friend Zero, I do not like much at all. Maybe she'll turn around. I don't know. We'll see. But I think she's kind of been annoying in the couple episodes that I've seen her in. Um, but overall, like the kid who plays Santi, he's very good. I think the mom is hilarious. His mom is very funny, along with his friend. I think
Yep.
their like little bicker back and forth is really funny. Um, yeah, dude. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's a good little, just chill show to watch every week about golf, and it's funny and it's emotional. So, just good, more good quality content from Apple TV.
Yeah, no, the last episode, the most recent one, I thought was very good. And you have kind of, so you watched up until, because I'm trying to think. So episode 4 was the him going back to the quarry or whatever to go get Santi, right? He had to go to the quarry and get her. So episode 5 was where, oh yeah, was where kind of Owen Wilson's character realizes that Santi listens to Zero a lot and wants Zero to be his caddy. And in the middle of a couple tournaments, you kind of get a montage, like a little road trip type deal of them kind of enjoying each other's company. Um, that's at towards the end of episode 5, and I thought that was such a good like scene where they're going around all in the RV and they're all laughing, having a good time, cooking out and stuff like that. And you see a couple shots that are really good, especially of like Price at the picnic table, kind of watching everybody around him. And he's had this broken family from tragedy and divorce and everything like that, and now he's got this really band of misfits who all have some things going on in their life, but they're all together and they're all having a good time and they're all on this road trip together. And you can tell he's kind of like he's happy, he's enjoying it, and he's got peace of mind and everything. I There was also the tackled kind of little moment between him and his best friend where you know he kind of they go at each other because he's trying to pick up Price's pieces all the time. He's trying to clean up after him, everything, and they have this whole moment together where they're kind of throwing each other's past in their faces. Like, I'm not always going to be there to clean up for you. Like, you got to stop doing this. And he kind of brings up his son a little bit. And, he says, Santi, you're trying to do that with Santi. Like, your son would be Santi's age now. And you're trying to find almost like closure through Santi. And you never say your son's name. You never say your son's name. And, that little scene, is an emotional little scene in an otherwise, funny and lighthearted episode. It's, 5 minutes of two friends that have known each other for a long time. And it's just what Apple TV, I feel like, has done. And like what you said, when you watch Ted Lasso, there are so many funny, feel good moments, but at other times it just rips your heart out and, is very real and grounded and sad. And I feel like they've done it again with Stick. There's some very, very, down to earth moments. Even when like his best friend tells Santi's mom about, hey, like you said that if you have kids or you don't have kids, like he had a kid and he died of cancer. Like that's sad. Like that's you don't really know like they do a good job of realizing like how real these characters are with like tragic stuff that has happened to him. Like even Zero, her mom wasn't there and Santi's dad left and Mitz lost his wife. So like everybody's going through something, but they all find comfort together. And that's what I liked about episode 5 a lot. I thought episode 5 was one of the strongest for sure. I really do. It was really good. So very
Yep.
impressed with this show.
Yep. No, really, really loving the show. Um, like I've said, I think in the last episode or the last two episodes, like we really don't have like hardly any like good golf movies, golf content outside of like Happy Gilmore. But yeah, no, this show has been really, really good. Really enjoying it. And we're about to have a whole lot more awesome shows to watch too. We can go ahead and kind of give a teaser. So obviously, The Bear season 4 comes out this week.
Yep.
Very excited. I'm going to try to get as much of it watched before the next podcast as possible. I don't know if I'll be able to do all of it, but I imagine we'll both at least get a good chunk of it finished. And then the first 3 episodes of Ironheart come out on Wednesday, so I'm excited to talk about that as well. I have a feeling that Ironheart's going to be like sneaky, really good.
And
Um,
also Ironheart cooked with their release. So you
yes,
get
three
three
episodes
episodes
this
this
week,
week.
3 episodes next week. Love it.
Beautiful.
Take notes, Stranger Things.
Beautifully done.
Take notes,
Beautifully
Stranger
done.
Things. Um, And I feel like there's another show starting relatively soon too, but I can't remember. But
We get
um,
Peacemaker in
oh
early
yeah, that's in August,
early
right?
August. And then Welcome to Derry is also around that time,
Welcome to
I think.
Derry soon. The Alien show.
Yeah, so I mean we're gonna be
That
busy with
stuff.
TV shows.
We got stuff. Um, so yeah, that is Stick. And now we can go ahead and jump into our movie reviews. So we got 3 movies, like I said. I'm going to be talking How to Train Your Dragon. We'll both do Materialists, and then I'll be doing 28 Years Later. Um, So yeah, we can go ahead and jump into the first one, How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake. I would say you would agree with me. The How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is sneakily like one of the best trilogies ever. All 3 of them are phenomenal. They are so entertaining and funny and sweet, but they like make you cry. Toothless and Hiccup are just like one of the best duos ever in animated, you know, movies ever. Uh, and then the whole cast of characters, his dad, all their friends, Astrid, um, Rough Nut, and uh, what's his name, Fish Legs, all just the whole crew. Um, we love those movies. I mean, literally grew up on them. I think the first one came out when we were like 8 or 9 or something like that. So, um, yeah. So this was announced what, like a couple years ago that they were doing a How to Train Your Dragon live action, and I think me and you were both kind of like, why? It's different than like these live action movies that Disney's making because these Disney live actions are like the movies are actually pretty old. Like even Lilo and Stitch came out in like what, 2002? Like that's
Yep.
20, 25 years almost.
Mm.
Lion King's old, Aladdin's old. But How to Train Your Dragon is still like relatively, fresh and new. Last 10 to 15 years, we've gotten the whole trilogy. So I think we were both very shocked when they announced this, kind of wondering like why, and how it would work or how it would be. The same exact director that did the whole trilogy came back to do this one. Um, And yeah, so it's kind of weird. I didn't even really think about it there for a while after it was announced, but then we got the first trailer like 6 months ago. And after the first trailer, I was definitely excited because I love the originals, especially the first one. Um, and that first trailer, when you hear that iconic score again, I think it's one of the most like slept on scores for an animated movie ever. And you get your first glimpse of Hiccup and Toothless doing recreating some of the iconic moments. Definitely got me excited, like tugged at my nostalgic heartstrings a little bit. So I definitely was excited for this. The closer it got to it, with more trailers and stuff we got. Obviously, like a lot of people are out on live action remakes, and I honestly do not blame them. Um, you get some great ones like Aladdin, and what Beauty and the Beast, but then you get some that aren't that great, like The Lion King or the last 25 minutes of Lilo and Stitch,
Or
uh,
Dumbo.
or Dumbo, yeah, which I never even saw, but I know it's horrible. Um, but yeah, so obviously, like, I feel like a lot of people were kind of split and torn on it, but you still just got to go into it with an open mind. This is a movie that I loved and I know you loved growing up. So like it's not going to be bad as long as they, relatively keep it similar. It's going to be, it's going to be a good time. And um I will say going into the theater, it did have a little bit of a slow start. Um I don't know. I was just a little bit bored for like the first 20 minutes, but then like the second he meets Toothless in that little like quarry area in the forest or whatever, that's like when the movie really gets going and it just goes and goes. I had a lot of fun with this. Obviously, it is literally this is what Lilo and Stitch did wrong. They did it correct here. It's literally a borderline shot for shot remake. Um, there is like hardly, I don't think there's really like any new storylines. They just stuck with the almost the exact same movie. So, um, if you're a fan of the original, I don't see why you wouldn't be a fan of this. I think Mason Thames is great as Hiccup. I think Nico Parker was actually kind of the MVP of this movie. She's the girl that played Astrid. I don't know what else she's been in, but she looks familiar. But
Yeah.
she was very good. Gerard Butler's back as his dad. He was kind of, whatever, but I think Mason Thames and Nico Parker did a great job along with like the supporting cast of his friends. Um, Julian Dennison, the guy that he's in Deadpool and he was in Y2K. Um, he plays Fish Legs. He was very funny. And then I think all of the dragons look great. Toothless looks incredible. Um, I mean, almost the exact same, but like just in a little bit more of a realistic way. Um, which I just think they did a good job. The all of the visuals and everything in this movie look really, really good. All the flying stuff looks really solid, like up there with like Game of Thrones flying, dragon stuff. But the dragons obviously look a little bit more cartoony. So, but it all works. It's literally the exact same movie. It's just live action. So, I'm not gonna spill on it too long because like it literally is the same exact movie. But I gave it 4 stars. Set it at an 8.3. I'd probably give the first one like a 9. The only reason like I give this only 4 stars is because it's a remake. It's not really anything original, but they stuck to it, and I think I had a great time with it. I think for the most part, other people are enjoying it as well. They've already confirmed that they're doing the second one, and I imagine they will do the third as well. Um, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do live action, this is how you need to do it. You need to just stick with what works. If you're going to change up anything, do it very minimally. Um, but like there were literal lines and shot for shot, like remakes, from the original and moments that I kind of forgot about, but then, watching it again. Uh, like the one of the funniest line deliveries ever in a movie. Just thank you for nothing, you useless reptile. They did that again in this movie, and some of the silly shots with Toothless like looking like a dog hanging out with his tongue hanging out. Just all the good feel good stuff that you get from the original you get in this. Maybe it feels a little like more lifeless. Some people would say because it takes away from that like fun kitty animation. bringing it down to live action, but I do think they did a good job keeping the dragons like cartoony looking and um, really faithful to the original. So I don't know if you're going to go check it out at any point. It's not like it's a spoiler. It's the same exact movie, but it's just as feel good as the original. Visuals are solid. Couple really good performances from both Mason Thames and Nico Parker, and um, yeah, I think if you just don't like this movie, you're just a hater because it's the same movie.
And you probably
That
don't like
everyone
the first one.
yeah. If you don't like this movie, then you don't like the first one. So,
Yeah.
if you like the first one, you're gonna love it. Go check it out. Great for people like us, like for nostalgia, but also like introducing a whole new generation of kids um, to these characters that we both love and we grew up with. So, yeah. And I actually now after this, like I'm excited for the second one and for them to do the third one. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's How to Train Your Dragon. 4 stars, 8.3.
Um,
Definitely go
fu-
check it out.
Fun fact, Nico Parker is in Dumbo, the live action. She's also Joel Miller's daughter originally in
That's
The Last of Us.
that's who she
And she
was.
ripped
Wait,
my heart out
in the
that time,
show?
so
In the show?
yes.
Yeah, in season one. Yes, I knew she
Yeah,
was
man.
mad familiar. She's very good. She was probably the
Yeah.
MVP actor.
Well, she was great in that first episode. She ripped
Yeah,
my heart out
yeah, for
again.
sure. So yeah, that's How to Train Your Dragon. And now we're gonna both jump into our review for Materialists.
All right, so the next review we got is for The Materialist, starring Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, and Dakota Johnson. And this was kind of, we got the trailer, I feel like kind of late, maybe 2 months ago or something. And it was definitely portrayed as a romance movie, but it almost felt like it was going to be more like, I don't know what the right word is, maybe erotic kind of deal. I thought it was going to be more like, I don't know, just like physical. And that definitely was not the vibe I got after watching the movie. But basically, Dakota Johnson plays a matchmaker and she's, very successful at it. She like hooks basically makes people meet and she's got a lot of people married. I think it was like 9 or something. And she is at one of the weddings for one of her clients, which sounds really terrible. Like the matchmaker, she's going to a wedding because she basically made the match. And yeah, so she meets Pedro Pascal, who is obviously a rich, wealthy man in New York City, and he obviously has, like the charisma, and he's very like nice and charming. And while he's meeting, or while she's, talking to Pedro's character for the first time, his name's Harry, I believe her name is Lucy. So while she's talking to Harry, an old boyfriend comes up, played by Chris Evans, and she obviously feels a spark that never left after however many years. So, um, basically, this movie is kind of following her have kind of like an interest in Harry with his, how much money he has and the life he lives and the way he makes her feel, but also having feelings for Chris Evans' character who, isn't as rich. He works, 2 jobs. He's an aspiring actor and, he's not, he's poor and, but you can obviously tell that Chris Evans' character loves Dakota Johnson. Like that is, very clear. He definitely feels the spark there and wants to rekindle it. And I'm just gonna jump right off the bat and say the reviews for this movie were very, very positive. They were very good, very good. And I guess we didn't watch the same movie because I was not a big fan of this movie. I thought now you might disagree with me, so I'm curious to see what you have to say. I thought Dakota Johnson was just not very good. I thought she played the same character as she did in 50 Shades of Grey. I thought it was the exact same character, exact same tone, and I didn't really love her character as much. On the flip side, though, I've given Chris Evans a lot of like shit in the past for not being the greatest actor. I thought he was actually pretty good in this movie. I thought he gave a very good performance, and especially at the end when he's like confessing how much he feels for Lucy at the end of the movie, I thought that was very good, and he showed a lot of emotion. Um, if you are a short king, this movie's not for you. So me being a short king, I was a little offended a couple times in this movie. So Pedro Pascal's character, you find out like why is he's so charming, he's rich. There's like in Dakota Johnson makes a comment like he's perfect. Like there's nothing wrong with him. I can't even like say this with a straight face. The one flaw he has is that he had a surgery to make him taller. And he basically says like I would never have the charisma to come up to you like because I was too short and stuff like that. And I was like, I know a lot of short people and they're pretty dang confident. Like they don't talk about how short they are. So if you are a short king, you can do without this movie. I think that they kind of, crap on short people and they've never met a short king, obviously. So Lucy, you know what? You don't deserve Harry, okay? Because he's a king and he doesn't need him. So he's gonna pick his head up, he's gonna put his crown back on, and he's gonna realize that he deserves someone a little bit better. Um, so no, that was just a joke. I literally walked out of the theater, I turned the camera, and I was like, man, they kind of hate on short kings in this movie. Like short people, you're basically hopeless and you'll never find love. That's basically what I heard. But no. The other thing I had a problem with this movie, and then no, you know what? Go ahead and tell me what you thought, and then I kind of want to we'll go into like good and bad. So I want to hear what
Yeah.
you thought.
Yeah. So, um, obviously, like, I don't know if the viewers know, but I'm a sucker for a good cheesy romance movie. Love rom-coms. I love that crap. I love cheesy stuff like The Notebook or Walk to Remember or whatever it may be. And then good, rom-coms like, more recently we got like Anyone But You or Palm Springs or Friends with Benefits, 51st Dates, things like that. I love all that stuff. And I love the more sappy stuff too. So I was excited for this when the trailer came out. Three big names, kind of in a love triangle. A24, Celine Song, who I don't know if you've seen Past Lives. That was like her first one that came out a
Yeah,
couple
I've
years
heard it's
ago.
very good.
She got nominated. That movie is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's on Hulu or something. If you ever got time, maybe watch it with Cameron. She would love it. Really solid movie, beautifully shot. Um, so it's like, okay, this is her, next big movie, or second big movie. She's got three massive actresses. Um, like let's go. I was excited. And I was like you, I was very disappointed in this. I was very confused because, like you said, it had been getting great reviews. A lot of people have been saying how good it was, and I think that some of the stuff this movie was trying to go for was great, but I just don't think it executed it. I understand the whole story of the movie is like how like dating right now is.
Hmm.
And as a single guy, like I related to a good bit of it. Um, but I also feel like you said, I feel like it really did kind of like pick on things like, being too short or not making enough money or things like that. But it just like kept hammering it over and over. And I was like, okay, we get it. It's hard dating people nowadays. That's what the movie was going for. I I did kind of relate to it at first, but then they just kept hammering it. I was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. I understand. Like we understand dating's hard. Dating in the 2025 is hard. Um, but it shouldn't be hard when you look like Chris Evans or Dakota Johnson or Pedro Pascal. So I definitely feel like almost all three of them were miscast. Um, I will say out of the three, I agree with you. Chris Evans gave the best performance, hands down, in this movie. Dakota Johnson was not particularly good. I don't think she was just horrible, but yeah, like you said, I feel like it's a performance I've seen from her. The only movie that I've ever seen her in that I think she puts on a great performance is Cha Cha Real Smooth. Came out a couple years ago on Apple TV. Check it out one day if you have not. Very good movie. But outside of that, she really hasn't had a good act. She's not good in any of the 50 Shades movies. She's not good in Madam Web. She's not good in a couple other rom-coms I've seen her in.
And
Um,
yeah, that's where I want to get to. Like she, like Madam Web in the 50 Shades movies, you can blame it on bad writing. And maybe you can blame it on bad writing in this one, but I refuse to believe that every movie she's in besides Cha Cha Real Smooth has bad writing. Like at some point it's a pattern. And maybe it was just so much it was like elite writing in Cha Cha Real Smooth So like, I don't know. It's just very odd to me.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell. But yeah, no, I agree. She was not particularly good. Pedro Pascal wasn't bad, but I just don't think he like did anything special. Like he just looked exactly like Pedro Pascal, and I feel like he just played Pedro Pascal. Chris Evans, even though he's like literally one of the hottest dudes ever, I mean, you could definitely like kind of, um, you could kind of feel for him. He was, like had a bunch of different jobs. He wasn't really successful in his acting career, and he's just struggling to get by, living with a bunch of roommates. Just like paycheck to paycheck. Um, and the fact that he can give a decent performance, like kind of making it believable, is impressive to him because he's clearly not like a guy that's struggling like that. It's a very good
Nope.
looking dude.
Nope.
But yeah, dude, I was disappointed in this. Like, me, I even love like a lot of rom-coms and stuff that you hate. But yeah, I'm the same way. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Like I said, I do kind of understand like the messages they were trying to convey, and I think they just could have gone about it a little bit differently. But I do like it sounds stupid, but like I did kind of relate to, some of the messages there. How everything really is so materialistic nowadays. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like they kind of just overdid it over and over and over and talking about all the math and all the everything. And so I was like, okay, we get it. Like everything is materialistic. That's the name of the movie. Like we get it. So I I kind of understand and appreciate where they were coming from, but I just don't think they executed it properly. Um, like I said, the acting was whatever. Chris Evans was probably the best part.
Yeah.
Very predictable, not a shocking ending at all. You know
Nope.
exactly where the movie's going. The second they enter that wedding and you meet Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal, like you know exactly what's going to happen. So yeah,
Ye-
it didn't really take risk. It didn't have any like kind of twists or anything, and I didn't particularly. I don't think anything was really particularly that romantic, except for like his speech at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It was a very good speech.
Yeah.
Very good writing there. So, um, and yeah, and I also feel like kind of more of a pro. I think Celine Song directed this movie pretty well. I think there were some like beautiful shots and some good like long takes that they had, and that's it's the same way in Past Lives. That's a wonderfully shot movie. Just very like aesthetically pleasing to look at. And I did kind of get that from this one as well. A lot of the shots of the city and the shots of them at dinner, or the shots of them in that like maybe it was Central Park. um, yeah, so I mean, it's not just a horrible, horrible movie. If you like romance movies, you might like it, but I just didn't particularly love it. I know this isn't even a genre you really like, so I kind of, I understand why you didn't like it as much either. So yeah, go ahead and jump into your rating, and then I'll share mine as well.
Yeah, I wanna point out one kind of bad thing, and I don't know if you even like. So I thought the scene, and I'm not trying to be so like I'm gonna say this in the best way possible. So the scene, the subplot of her client being sexually assaulted, I thought was almost pointless in the movie itself. The only thing that you could say that it did was that her being a matchmaker, she didn't actually know them because she was being materialistic, which is fine. But then you keep bringing her back, and she was trying to be a detective at one point. She even had that stupid jacket on. God, I got so mad to see that. But I don't think it played a bigger role in the movie. It was like 20 minutes of three separate scenes. And even when they were at the wedding together and she calls them, I thought he was going to be in the house or something, or he was going to be waiting there. There's like no, I don't even know why that was put into this movie, the whole subplot of that. I really don't, because I don't think it served a higher purpose at all. I seriously have no idea. And then the other part is like like we see Pedro Pascal scars on his leg. I was kind of like, okay, because I know they brought up the surgery like earlier in the movie, but I was kind of like, oh, maybe he's like abusive. Like maybe this is from like he's actually a bad person. No, he was just short. Like, come on, dude.
Same
Like,
thing. He's a
He's
bad
good.
person because he was
Okay.
short.
All right, buddy.
No, but yeah, this movie, like I feel like it's trying to like teach people to not be this way, but then it also like still was just negative towards short people and people that don't make as much money or I don't like looks or whatever. It's like it was like trying to convey that this is bad, but then it was also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yep. Okay, yeah, we can jump into ratings. So, um, I don't know actually how low you were on this. I was pretty low. Um, I gave it 2.5 stars on Letterboxd, which is one of my lowest down there with like Electric State and You're Cordially Invited. It's like down there. So I gave it 2.5 stars and I settled on a 5.4. I was gonna go 5.5, but then I had to give it 3 stars. And I'm just not doing that. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. 5.4. It is towards the very bottom of my list this year. And that really sucks because the reviews were good and I kind of had high expectations. And like you said, this isn't my favorite genre. And it just was, I don't think it was very good. I really don't. I think there were aspects that were really bad. I thought the acting was average at best. But like you said, there were good parts, like the way it was shot was pretty good. And I think there were like good attempts at a message, but I just don't think
good
that
intentions. Yeah.
yeah, just wasn't great. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
5.4, 2.5 stars.
Yeah. I was just a little bit higher on it than you, not much. I gave it three stars. I settled at a 6.2. Also, I mean, I know that's higher than you, but that's still also like towards the bottom of my list.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did I think I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more than you because I did kind of relate to it a little bit. Some of the messaging, and then I think it was shot really well. And um, I don't think it like I don't know. It was just a harmless romance movie. It wasn't just like god awful. It was watchable. Like it got a couple chuckles out of me. Um, Chris Evans was good. Like
Yeah.
it's not just god awful, but it definitely I feel like could have been a whole lot better. Um, I think maybe cast different people. I don't know what the fix would be here. Um, or maybe change up some of the writing just a little bit. I don't know, but I think there was some good stuff in here, but there was also a lot of like bad stuff in here too. So, 6.2, 3 stars, not great. It's that number like 30 on the year for me. Um, but like if you like, did Cameron like it? I know she loves like romance movies. She didn't even really like it.
No.
Um, so I mean, maybe if you like romance movies, maybe if you like A24, maybe go check it out. I don't know. I honestly probably wouldn't really recommend this to most anyone.
But
Um,
like we say with every movie, go
go
form
form
your
your own
own opinion.
opinions.
Please.
Yep, yep.
Just because we don't like it.
A
I mean,
lot of
somebody
people have
liked it.
liked it. A whole lot of reviews. A
Yeah.
lot of people have
So
liked it.
it just wasn't like this is already a genre I don't like. But to hear Cole like who does like this genre, like also kind of feel the same way about me or as me. So like, you know, but obviously go form your own opinion, go watch it. I mean, these are some big name like you might like it. I mean, there might be people that really like it. So, go
Yep.
check it out. There's some like we said, there's some good parts in this
It's
movie.
not
So I don't think it's
unwatchable. It's got some decent stuff in there and a decent attempt at
yeah,
a message I feel like you can relate to.
yeah,
So, not
absolutely.
all bad, but definitely nothing memorable. We'll never watch this movie again. But that's okay. Not every movie has to be spectacular. So,
Right, right.
um, yeah. So that is Materialists. That is our duo review for the week. But then probably the biggest movie of the week, the biggest review here, is 28 Years Later. A movie me and you have been very, very, very excited for. It was literally one of your most anticipated when we did our draft back in January. Um, Landon has not been able to go see it yet, but I was able to see it. I think last Thursday or Friday, um, and obviously, like the trailer, one of the best trailers. I still think like one of the best trailers I might have ever seen. Like,
That and weapons are still like
yeah,
top tier right now.
and like the first trailer for Sinners.
Yep,
Uh,
yep,
I feel like we're getting a lot of good like horror movie trailers
yep.
this year, but um, yeah. So the trailer was sick, like so cool, genuinely scary. we were both like instantly amped for it. Like enough to where it's, what's one of your most anticipated on the whole year. Um, I was very, very excited as well. And then like obviously the last couple weeks with the premiere and first reviews coming out, people were saying just absolutely elite movie of the year. I think it still has like a 95 critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. I could be wrong. Um, was getting fantastic, fantastic reviews. People saying it's like the best zombie movie ever, best movie of the year, best movie of the last several years. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think expectations were through the roof based off everything, the trailers and the reviews and everything. Um, and to just jump right into it and say my thoughts, I was underwhelmed by this movie. I'm one of the very few, if not one of the only people that I've seen that was a little bit lower on it than like reviews. I did talk to Tyler Nubbs, saw it as well, and he actually did feel kind of the same way as me. And I'll get into my some of my cons and stuff, and I my pros as well, and I won't spoil it because I know you're going to see it soon. But yeah, I mean, I was amped for this movie. Love a good zombie movie. The first one with Cillian Murphy is like one of the best zombie movies ever. Um, very, very excited for this one. I went into it with high hopes, and I just walked out feeling like wanting a little bit more. I don't really know where to begin. I'll start with some cons first, then I'll end it on like some high notes. So the whole movie shot on iPhone, right? Shot on the iPhone 15.
Yep.
I feel like I can tell. I can tell this movie is shot on an iPhone. If you remember, you've seen 28 Days, right? If
Oh
you
yeah.
remember that movie is on like a super low budget and it's
Yep.
almost like grainy looking the whole
Yep.
movie.
Hmm.
It's just like the style of the movie. So I feel like they were almost kind of trying to go with that vibe again, like kind of a grainy, different, not as smooth digital camera way of doing it, which cool, I guess. But I can like almost the entire most of the whole movie, I can tell this movie's shot on an iPhone. It just doesn't have the quality of like Sinners or I don't know, even other horror movies we've seen this year, The Gorge, Warfare. I mean, it's just I don't know. I could just tell it's shot on an iPhone, and it was like almost jarring at points. Some of the action sequences are just very choppy and shaky, and I understand what they're going for. They're trying to like immerse you in it, which some of it definitely did work. But I also think like I know what you're going for. Just shoot it on a good high quality camera. If it looked clear and looked better, I would have probably at least bumped it like up a half star more. But some of like the choices there were just kind of odd to me. Um, this is a massive, the first one's massive. This is a very highly anticipated sequel. I don't know why you film it on an iPhone. So there's that. And then also the story was just it was just kind of boring. It was. A lot of the zombie stuff was sick. Okay. The zombies look great. They are terrifying. They are gruesome. The big bad zombies, they call them alphas. They're literally like ripping people's heads off and their spines. It's crazy. So some of the zombie stuff is great, but outside of a lot of the zombie sequences, I think the story is really freaking boring. So it's this kid. His name is what's his name? Spike. Um, and his parents are Aaron Taylor Johnson and Jodie Comer. Um, also, let me give this kid props. His name is Alfie Williams. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything
I think
before.
his first major role.
Unreal, unreal, like up there with the kid from Adolescence.
Man, dude, we're getting a bunch of them this year.
Yeah, no, like really good. He was like 100% the best performance in the
Come
movie.
on.
Ray Fiennes was also pretty good. And I'll get to that, but yeah, I mean, outside of some cool zombie stuff and a couple really solid performances, I was just kind of bored, dude. I, I don't, I don't think it was like particularly scary. There are some very intense moments. And there's one scene in particular that is one of my favorite sequences of the year, but I just feel like the story was very bland and almost kind of pointless. Um, Also, as we both know, this is like the start of a new trilogy they're doing. So it is very clearly kind of set up for the next movie and the next movie, which I understand. You're trying to reintroduce people back into this world, introduce some new characters, and then like kind of show you the direction like they're wanting to go. That's great and all, but I just was kind of bored. I honestly like halfway through the movie, I checked my phone. I was like, God, I still have another hour. Like I genuinely got a little bored, which sucks. Like I heard it, it pains me to say that, but like Oppenheimer's a 3 hour movie about nothing but talking. Like, and I was locked in the whole time. This is like an action horror zombie movie, and I was getting bored with it. And that just shouldn't be the case. Um, but outside of some of the cons, some really, really good stuff as well. Alfie Williams, one of the best performances of the whole year. I could see this kid getting nominated, potentially for like an Oscar or something. I don't know. Very, very good. Aaron Taylor Johnson, whatever. Jodie Comer was whatever. Ray Fiennes, really solid. His character was very intriguing. He was not in the movie much, um, but when he is in the movie, he steals the scene. He steals the camera. Um, I think everything with Ray Fiennes' character was very, very cool. Um, and yeah, I mean, really, the only two interesting characters were him and the kid, Spike, Alfie Williams. But Ray Fiennes was great. The zombies looked very creepy, just as creepy as they do in the trailer. Like there's some really, really wild like infrared shots that are like genuinely like kind of scary. Uh, and it's a pretty haunting score. So like the whole movie is just very like dreadful and like you feel like something is, constantly around the corner. Just very like on the edge of your seat. Not necessarily like jump scare scary, just like something's coming at any given moment. Um yeah, there are, despite the fact I kind of like talked negatively on it being shot on an iPhone, there are some unreal shots in this movie. Some of the more you'll just when you see it, you'll know what I mean. There are like during some of the action sequences, it's just kind of jarring, but when you got these more like dramatic, not as intense scenes, the cinematography, it looks really, really good. There's a couple beautiful, beautiful shots in this, but yeah, dude, just really mixed feelings. Some of it was incredible, and then some of it was just disappointing and a little boring. And I think it was mainly just story. I think they could have made the story a little bit more intriguing. There was nothing wrong with the zombies. Um, like I said, some of the cinematography was really cool. There are a couple really cool shots. You've seen the pictures of like that like thing that they had where it was like a bunch of iPhones kind of in a loop around the zombies. When you see those scenes in the movie, you'll understand like exactly what they were doing with it. Very cool, unique scenes, like ways of shooting like a zombie or zombie death, like unlike anything I've ever seen. Very, very cool, but there wasn't enough of it. Like you had only got a couple, like maybe three or four deaths like that in the movie. Um, I don't know. Just it's hard because there was some really, really, really good stuff, but then there was some really just boring stuff as well. Um, Definitely still go see it. I know you're very excited. I'm honestly one of the only people I know that has like negative things to say about it, other than Nubs, but everyone on Twitter is loving it. Like people, I've seen so many people put it at their movie of the year. And I can understand why. I really can. It also is a very, very emotional movie. Especially like the last 30 minutes is very, very moving. Um, but then the last 5 minutes of the movie, I don't know if you've seen anything about this movie, but have you seen people talking about like the last couple minutes of the movie? The last couple minutes of the movie are so completely different from the whole beginning of the movie that it feels like its own, like it feels like a separate thing. I don't know how to explain it. When you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. Um, just very, very weird last like 5 minutes of the movie. Very weird. Um, so I'm curious to see what you think of that. It's clearly set up for the next movie. And if that's like the tone that the next movie's going to be, I don't know what to expect, but you'll know exactly what I mean when you see it. I'm curious to see what you think. But yeah, so very mixed feelings for me. Definitely some good stuff. Go check it out. So the rest of this trilogy can get made and we can see where it goes. Um, I think I settled, let's see, where's it at? Where's that? I settled at 3.5 stars, and I gave it a 7.1.
Oh, that's still
So
not bad.
not still not bad at all. No, number 20 on the year. Number
It,
20 out of like 45. So definitely a lot more good in this movie than bad, but I was just lower on it, a lot like a good bit lower on it than all the reviews and everything I've seen on Twitter. You might love it. I have seen like the guys at Barstool at LCB. They both absolutely loved it. Nubs didn't really love it as much as me. Another one of my coworkers, one of the other interns, saw it. They really enjoyed it.
yeah.
So I think most people are going to enjoy it. I did find some stuff in it really cool, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't just a little bit disappointed, a little underwhelmed. So I'm very excited to see your thoughts, see what you have to say about it. You said you're seeing it Tuesday, right?
Yeah. I was gonna ask, Jack O'Connell is in this movie. Is you didn't say anything about him, is he? I don't know, like his
I'm not going to say anything.
oh,
I don't want to spoil anything. He is in this movie. Um, that's all I'm going to say. He is in this
you
movie.
didn't like him, you didn't dislike nothing.
He's in this movie.
You can say it.
Um,
I mean, you can
no,
say
I
it.
can't. I can't say it because no, I can't say it. He's in the movie. That's all you need to know. I'm not spoiling anything for you because there is some wild twists. But yeah, I mean, 7.1, 3.5 stars. Go see it. Um, I I I wouldn't like not recommend it. It's it's a good zombie flick. While it might be a little boring story wise, the zombie stuff is sick. Some of the shots and the deaths are really cool and unique and bloody and gross, which is what you want from a zombie movie. But I just think like some of the human element and some of the story was just boring. So yeah, that's my review for 28 years later. Maybe next week. Obviously, next week we're going to be talking F1, movie we're both very excited about. But maybe you can give your thoughts on 28 years next week as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, do you have anything
Yeah.
else you want to add?
Yeah,
Or
look, next week we got F1 is the big review. We also will be talking Ironheart for sure, and then where we'll probably talk to where both of us are at to the Bear, whether that be I know Cameron is very excited. We might finish it in 2 nights and then be done with it. So we might be able to talk the whole season. Um, but yeah, F1, the Bear, Ironheart, Stick again is one episode, but yeah, no, we got a lot to talk about next week. And then I will probably I plan to go see 28 Years Later on Tuesday. That is my goal. And then try to think what else.
you
We know
still got to go
Elio
see
came
Bring Her
out this
Back.
week. What?
Said you still got to go see Bring Her Back.
We Elio came out this week as well. The reviews were very good for that.
Yep,
So
Nub said he really enjoyed it.
that will be getting watched whether it be, 2 weeks from now or whatever. But 4th of July coming up, and then we have Jurassic World, we have Superman, we have Fantastic Four. The list goes on and on. So we're in the middle of summer, so we're kind of getting to that point where like every weekend is a blockbuster. But no, and usually like we end every episode just some things we watch. I know you've been traveling. I don't know if you've watched anything new while you were traveling. Uh, what'd you watch? Anything
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
interesting?
So I actually just literally today finished new show on Amazon Prime called Motorheads. I think I had mentioned to you that I was watching, but I finished it today. Um, really cheesy, like high school drama show, but it's also like centered around street racing. So it's almost like Fast and Furious, but high school. So I enjoyed it. Kind of like mind-numbing TV show. Not really any particularly good acting performances, but some cool like street racing stuff and high school drama and crap like that. I actually did kind of enjoy it. I've watched a couple more episodes of Tires, just absolutely hilarious. I still got to finish it. Um, any movies I watched? I watched the new Predator movie, Killer of Killers,
Oh yeah, yeah.
animated one. A little underwhelming as well because it was getting some really solid reviews. It's basically like three separate stories. Um, one of them is like a 10 out of 10. And the other two are just kind of like, eh. but they all tie together. If you watch it, you'll see.
Yeah.
And another movie I watched for the first time, I watched it on a flight. John Tucker Must Die. Uh, Another one of those like early 2000s like high
Cool.
school romance movies that I'd never seen.
Yeah.
Uh, Really funny, really
Nice.
funny. I definitely enjoyed that. So um, yeah, and I think this week I might. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I'm going to get on the Love Island train. So many people at work are watching it, and it is the only thing that everyone at work is talking about. Even my boss, 30-year-old man, like everyone's talking about it. I think I might start it. So
I
uh,
can't say
we'll
that
we'll get back to you next week on that.
I can't say that I'm watching anything better. So Cameron is big, and this third season is coming out this year. I just happened to be in the living room, so don't think that this was my idea. I just happened to be in the living room, but I watched the first two seasons. God, I cannot believe I'm saying this out loud. Of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Dude, people watch that and enjoy it. Like I don't get it.
Your
And
wife's
then,
one of them.
huh?
They said Cameron's one of them.
She's read every book. She eats it up. She eats it up. But um, there actually are some very interesting parts. It's just most of it they can't act. So like you just have to like get through that. And then we just started one tonight. She wanted to watch the first couple episodes. She'd been seeing it on TikTok. It's called We Were Liars. It's on Amazon Prime. Um,
That show looks really stupid too.
Dude, the first episode was so dang boring. But maybe it'll take up. I
I
think she's
saw
so.
I saw on your letterbox you've been watching a couple Marvel movies as well.
Yeah. What were they, Marvel?
Yeah, you watched like Guardians 3.
Oh,
You watched
yeah.
Infinity
So
War.
Guardian, we were actually I was grilling and I was getting ready for the grill to like heat up or whatever. I came back in, Kobe and Kelsey were in town and Guardians was on the TV. And I said, "Well, you can pause it, wait till I get done, and we'll turn that on." Yeah, no, Guardians 3 is amazing. I really we kind of talked about I sent that GIF to you on Twitter today of the dude like trying to make fun of James Gunn writing, and it was of the High Evolutionary yelling that. He used the hardest yelling scene in any comic book movie ever. So he was dumb to use that because that's like that gives me chills. Yeah, no, we watched that. I'm trying to think what else we watched. I would have to pull up my letterbox. There was a lot of movies like on TV. You kind of don't realize like how, dude. Also, Edge of Tomorrow was on TV the other night, but I was watching a sporting event, so I couldn't like.
I need the sequel now.
Yeah,
I need it
but
right now.
Daddy Cruz, he's in that. So, but no, not much. I This week's gonna be a lot better with the Bear and Ironheart, and when I travel the next week for 4th of July, like there'll be a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, just 28 years later, I'm super excited. I know you literally are one of the only people that I've seen negative, which is
Yep, I
crazy.
am. No, I
I
definitely am.
respect
I
it. I
literally
respect it.
I feel like on Twitter I always see um even with movies like Sinners, like I've seen some people have some negative things to say. Um but with this movie I literally don't think I have on Twitter at all.
Not one. No.
Um
But
yeah.
real quick before we like do the outro, on Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is I think at 90, but the audience score is at 65. So I find that very odd
Is it
because
really?
yes, so it's really low, but you don't see that translate to Twitter. So that's why I'm a little bit confused because if you see 65% for an audience score, surely on Twitter you'll see something. And I'm not, dude, I have no idea. I just don't know.
Yep. Well, um, you'll know in a couple days, and you'll know what I mean about the Jack O'Connell scene as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, quite the scene. But yeah, so that is going to wrap up episode number 24. Um, Thank you all for tuning in. Despite the delay, we just kind of needed a break, both doing a lot of traveling, and I still have so much traveling coming up. But we're going to definitely continue to crank these out. We love doing it. Please continue to show love, like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you want us to talk about. If you guys got any ideas for drafts or anything like that, maybe next week we can do a like a sports movie draft in honor of F1, or we'll figure something out. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Landon, do you have anything to say?
No, peace out, boys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next week. F1 next week. Let's go.
Baby, we were born to
We were born
run.
to run.